Hi children, today's sixth section of electrostatics. Today topic is application of Gauss law. If the charge configuration possesses some kind of symmetry, then the Gauss law is a very efficient way to calculate the electric field. So it is illustrated in the following some cases. The first one topic is electric field due to an infinitely long charged wire. Consider an infinitely long straight wire having the uniform linear charge density lambda. Let P be a point located at a perpendicular distance r from the wire. Let us choose a cylindrical Gaussian surface of the radius r, its length is L. So the total electric flux in this closed surface is calculated as follows. The equation is pi is equal to cylindrical closed surface integration E vector dot dA vector. So we can write it the equation integration curved surface E vector dot dA vector plus integration top surface E vector dot dA vector plus integration bottom surface E vector dot dA vector. For curved surface, the E vector, it is parallel to A vector. So the value of E vector dot dA vector is E dot dA. But the top and bottom surfaces, the E vector, it is perpendicular to A. That means electric field, it is perpendicular to area. So the value of E vector dot dA vector is equal to 0. So apply the Gauss law to the cylindrical surface. We have the equation pi is equal to integration curved surface E dA is equal to Q enclosed by epsilon naught. But Q enclosed value is lambda L. So you can substitute here means E integration curved surface dA is equal to lambda L by epsilon naught. But integration dA value is 2 pi RL. You can substitute this value here means E dot 2 pi RL is equal to lambda L by epsilon naught. L cancelling to each other. So you can get E value is 1 by 2 pi epsilon naught lambda by R. We can write it in the vector notation. E vector is equal to 1 by 2 pi epsilon naught lambda by R into R cap. So if the lambda value is greater than 0 means then E vector points perpendicular outward from the wire. But lambda value is less than 0 means E vector points perpendicular inward. So the electric field due to infinite charged wire depends on 1 by R rather than 1 by R square for a point charge. And the next topic is electric field due to two parallel charged infinite sheet. See the diagram. This is two parallel charged sheets. The inside of the point is P1, the outside of the point is P2 and P3. The charge is plus sigma and minus sigma. Consider two infinitely large charged plane sheets with equal and opposite charged densities plus sigma and minus sigma, which are placed parallel to each other. So the electric field between the plate and outside the plate is found using the Gauss law. So the magnitude of electric field due to an infinite charged plane sheet is sigma by 2 epsilon. At the point P2 and P3, the electric field due to both plates are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. As a result, the electric field at a point outside, that means P2 and P3, the value of electric field is 0 because it is outside from the sheets. But inside the plate, the electric field are in the same direction. So the total electric field at a point P1 is, because the P1 point is between the plates, inside of the plates. So the value is E inside is equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught plus sigma by 2 epsilon naught. So 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 value is 1. So we can get it sigma by epsilon naught. So the direction of electric field inside the plate is directed from positively charged plate to negatively charged plate, and it is uniform everywhere inside the plate. And the next topic is electric field due to charged infinite plane sheet. So this is plane sheet and this is cylindrical Gaussian surface. So cylindrical, you consider an infinite plane sheet of charges with uniform surface charge density is sigma. Let P be a point at a distance of r from the sheet. So since the plane is infinitely large, the electric field should be same at all points. A cylindrical shaped Gaussian surface of length 2r and area A of the flat surfaces. So apply the Gauss law for the cylindrical surface. We can get it the equation pi e is equal to integration closed surface E vector dot dA vector. For closed surface, the curved surface, the integration is E vector dot dA vector. At a point P, the integration P E vector dot dA vector plus at point P dash, the integration P dash E vector dot dA vector. The electric field is perpendicular to the area element at all points on the curved surface. So it is parallel to the surface area P and P dash. So the equation is integration P E dA plus integration P dash E dA. We can write it again, pi e is equal to Q enclosed by epsilon naught. But Q enclosed value is sigma A. This value you can substitute in this equation, means 2E integration P dA is equal to sigma A by epsilon naught. But integration dA value is A. This A you can substitute here, means AA cancelling to each other, and we can get it the E value is sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Since the magnitude of electric field at these two equal surfaces is uniform, so the electric field due to an infinite plane sheet of charge depends on the surface charge density and it is independent of the distance r. And the next topic is the electric field due to a uniformly charged spherical shell. Consider a uniformly charged spherical shell of radius of capital R and the total charge is capital Q. So the electric field at the points outside and inside the sphere is found using the Gauss law. We can found the electric field from the spherical shell through three cases. The first cases is at a point outside of the shell. You see the diagram. Let us choose a point P. It is outside the shell at a distance of r from the center. So the charge is uniformly distributed on the surface of the sphere. So when we are applying the Gauss law, we can get it the equation integration closed surface E vector dot dA vector is equal to Q by epsilon naught. But the integration dA is equal to Q by epsilon naught. So the value of dA value is 4 pi r square. So E dot 4 pi r square is equal to Q by epsilon naught. We want E value, so E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r square, and we can get it the equation in the vector notation, means A vector is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r square into r cap. So we infer that from the equation, we infer that the electric field at a point outside of the shell will be same as if the entire charge Q is concentrated at the center of the spherical shell. And the case B, the electric field at points on the spherical shell capital R, that means instead of small r we can use capital R. So the formula is E vector is equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught r square into r cap. And the next one is third case. Consider a point P inside the shell. Consider the point P, it is inside the shell at a distance of r from the center. So now applying the Gauss law, we can get it the equation integration closed surface E vector dot dA vector is equal to Q by epsilon naught. Here the value of integration dA is 4 pi r square. So E dot 4 pi r square is equal to Q by epsilon naught. So since the Gaussian surface encloses no charges, so Q is equal to 0. We can substitute this 0 value here, means we can get it totally E is equal to 0. So the electric field due to uniformly charged spherical shell is 0 at all points inside the shell. So we clarified in the three cases. The first one case is outside of the spherical shell. Second one is at a point on the surface of the spherical shell. And third cases is at a point inside the spherical shell. That's all, children. What we learn, we will see. The application of Gauss's law. So the electric field due to an infinitely long charged wire, the electric field due to two parallel charge and infinity sheets, and electric field due to charged infinite plane sheet, and electric field due to a uniformly charged spherical shell. I hope, children, you understood about the equations. Thank you, children.